The Sam Bankman-Fried trial is going on in New York, I believe, and they've already had some of the, I would guess, key witnesses coming out already. The other day was Gary Wang. He was like a co-founder involved in SBF in FTX with Sam. Caroline is also was on the stand yesterday and doing things today as well. So she has had some interesting insight into what was going on in FTX and how Sam actually acted. So these two main figures that everyone assumed was going to flip on Sam have officially come out and done just that. We can see some of the questions someone wrote down, like a bunch of the questions that Gary Wang got asked. Some of the big ones, obviously, did you commit financial crimes while working FTX? He just simply says yes. Goes on to say what types of crimes. We already know, everything already went. And saying who were the main people you committed these crimes with, and just says basically Sam, Caroline, and obviously more and more about this stuff, basically the fraud, FTX, everything that was going on. And also, one of the big things that have come out from this is this right here, saying, in general terms, for now, what did you do with the defendant that was the wire fraud you're referring to? Saying that they gave special privileges to Alameda Research on FTX, which allowed it to withdraw unlimited amounts of funds from the platform, and lied about this to the public. And went on to say had the ability to, regardless of what was in the account, to withdraw unlimited amounts of money. So FTX literally made sure that Alameda just had no end. They were able to just take as much money as they wanted to trade with, do whatever with, and have their positions open and doing whatever. They could lose as much money as possible. They had unlimited amounts. So for these questions, obviously, I think this is stuff people really assumed was coming out. None of this is shocking, right? But then we have Caroline Ellison, who showed up to court. This is what she was wearing. I don't know. A lot of people are memeing on it. I mean, I guess it's kind of weird, but I would think she's a little bit weird of a person. So this is her going into the courtroom, and when she showed up, and then the court, I don't know what you call them, but people do like the drawings. Didn't do her any favors, as this is what they drew for her. This I mean, this is this is tough. It's crazy. They did her real dirty in these court drawings, so they didn't help her at all. But Caroline, the stuff that she was doing with FTX, see, she had a $200,000 per year salary and received a bonus of $20 million in 2021, invested $10 million in a startup, allegedly gave $100K to her parents, $2 million to donor advised fund. Looks like Caroline made more than was previously leaked and speculated, so she obviously did very well from this whole thing as well. Even though, for some reason, Sam and Caroline, like Sam didn't like her at all. It's really weird because he's like trying to make sure no one knew that they were ever together, they were together, or they even worked together, which it's such a weird relationship that they had going on there. But he still, for some reason, put her as the CEO of Alameda, $200,000 a year salary, $20 million as a bonus for 1 year. So still got treated insanely well, tons of money. I would be interested to see if Caroline and Gary Wang, if they have deals where they don't go to jail, because they weren't directly involved in this types of stuff. They were main characters in this FTX thing. So if they don't go to jail, but it was all to get enough proof on Sam to put him away, is that worth it? Should they all go to jail? I don't really know. Obviously, they all had something to do with it. Sam was probably the kingpin, the main guy, but they were all in some way guilty of something. And Caroline goes on to say even more, saying, she is telling the prosecution that when she raised concerns with the fake balance sheets, she was created in the event of an audit, or she was creating in the event of an audit. Sam basically told her auditors are stupid and won't even notice, which I guess he's not wrong, right? Because they didn't notice. They didn't notice at all until it was too late and everyone lost their money. So, he wasn't wrong, but he's literally just maybe like people realizing Sam might be having not the best intentions with this stuff going on here. Caroline brings it up to him and says, hey, this is a fake balance sheet. What happens if we get caught? And Sam just says, we can't get caught. They're dumb. Which, again, he wasn't wrong. But there's even more things coming out from like Sam and stuff saying like he was bribing Chinese politicians or the government or stuff there to unfreeze funds for FTX so he could take more money on his way out. He was trying to go to like Saudi Arabia and going to them and trying to literally scam them in some sort of way to get them to give him money to try and bail out FTX and their problems that was going on. He was going through it and going to any measure necessary in order to try and save this company on its dying days. And on top of that, it has come out that his whole kind of nerdy persona, where he was this geek who was trying to get into this industry and breaking in, and kind of that like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates types of thing, where you look at him and say, God, what a nerd. But that's the aesthetic you want when you're trying to raise billions of dollars from people. And that aesthetic ended up being completely fake, where it was completely made up. He did it because he knew people would give him money and treat him differently that way. So Sam knew what he was doing for any step that he took. He was way smarter than people even thought he was, even to begin with. And he tried to go on his media tour and say how I'm just a dumb kid who obviously ran into a mistake and collapsed the fund. But he knew exactly what he was doing. Every step was calculated, even down to him and his personality on camera to be a nerd. And maybe FTX would still be around today had he not made CZ mad and upset or bought out CZ's position in FTX. As this guy says, who does pretty good reporting on Twitter on all of these finance stuff, but especially on this, saying, in our opinion, Sam made a tragic tactical mistake by buying back Binance's stake in FTX. If Binance was more commingled with FTX, they would have been more likely to not unload their FTT and or bail FTX out when the bank run happened. Sam's greed yet again did him in. Exactly what happened. Obviously, Sam didn't have to buy Binance's stake back or get them out of the company. If Binance was still commingled with them, would they be likely to bail them out like this says and not dump their FTT, which led to the collapse of FTX? I don't really know, because there was bad blood, right? There wasn't just bad business blood there with CZ and Sam, but there was bad blood because Sam was trying to go behind his back to US regulators and stuff to get Binance kicked out of US markets, and so FTX would be the biggest thing, and he was trying to do a bunch of things that CZ didn't like. So even if CZ had a stake in FTX, maybe he still would have sunk it just because they really didn't like each other. And to make it even worse, he was trying to suppress the price of Bitcoin, saying Caroline Ellison testified that SBF instructed her to keep selling Bitcoin if it's over $20,000. And the Bitcoin that they were selling was customers' Bitcoin, so more fraud, more problems, and it's just crazy to see what Sam was doing. Now, why he would want to keep the Bitcoin price under $20,000 doesn't make any sense. I don't know what the plan is there, unless that was some sort of shot at Binance, because I think Binance having their problems right now with BNB, and maybe potentially allegedly doing the same thing and selling Bitcoin to cover BNB to keep that up because they have the same problems FTX had. But I don't know, if it wasn't to try and get at Binance, I don't know why he would want to suppress the price of Bitcoin. It doesn't make any sense. That's kind of what's going on so far in this FTX, SBF. The 3 letters go crazy. This court story right now. The 2 main characters that were supposed to testify that everyone was looking forward to, they're testifying. They're pretty much getting it done with. Everything's looking pretty bad for Sam. I think that the lightest sentence that he can get at this point is 30 years. And I think Bernie Madoff got 150 years. So that's like the spread we're looking at for Sam. He's going to get somewhere between 30 years and 150 years. Either way, he's going to spend a lot of time in jail, and rightfully so, for everything that he did. That's going to do it for this video. As always, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.